What's the most surprising way you've seen a client save money, and how did you get that impact in their business?
Easiest thing they could do is utilize our reverse auction to save money. There's cases where I could bring up where they've saved 50. Sounds fake, impossible. Us selling fixed rates and the market continues to rise, that type of contract performance will result in over 50% savings, knowing that energy prices throughout the country have risen 40% since 2021. So theoretically, if you sign just at market value at a fixed rate at 2021, you would be sitting 50% below market value here in 2026. Let alone if you get 10 to 15 to 20% below market value by the time you sign your fixed rate. Now we're talking 60 to 70% savings by the time your contract expires. Once again, sounds fake and impossible. Not every single client is like that, but we do have plenty of examples I'd love to show you here shortly.
Yeah, please. Why don't you share right now? If you want to give a case study of anyone you've worked with and what their before and after pictures look like.
Here's one of our longest clients. They are a food food storage facility in Philadelphia. So I'm going to start with a little present, then I'll dive into the past, just because I brought up the reverse auction before. So this is what the reverse auction looks like as an admin view. This is their renewal. I'll get into the previous contract and then we can get into the renewal, but I just wanted to show off. These are the names of some of our suppliers that participated in this auction. If you follow my cursor here, you add up all these bids, equals over 91 different bids back and forth across these fixed rate terms. And if you could see at the beginning of the auction, Constellation, who ended up winning the auction, they initially bid at 8.3 in the beginning of the week. Through these 91 different bids, at the end of the week, they got down to 7.7. So that is what they currently sit at. But let's talk about, since I've been in business since 2016, we can talk about contracts that have signed for 5 years and how they've performed. So this is their original contract 5 years ago. You can see all the fixed rates components. You're not only fixing the raw cost of energy, you're also fixing all of these costs. And we can really get into capacity and some of the industry details here shortly. They have lucky enough to have their capacity costs along with all these additional charges locked from 2021 to December of 2025 before we worked at the renewal at the price point here. You can see 4.49. Now,
Incredible.
how did that contract perform over that 5 year period? This is what I was mentioning, where an initial 10 to 20% savings is going to turn into a 50% savings. Now, this is our in-house contract performance data. Thank you, AI, that automatically generates market value from the local utility for their rate class to show a graph and give it extra data points to ensure, performance by us. But you can see they initially signed about 15-20% below market value. As the Ukraine war started and the markets kicked off, they were nearly 50% below market value. Market value started to dip and go up, dip and go up. And by the time their contract ended in December of 2025, the PICO price to compare was 9.9. So here's one of the examples of someone who was more than 50% below market value by utilizing a fixed rate through us. Since we had that performance in our back pocket, the renewal was extremely easy. And once again, they signed a contract this time for 6 years at a fixed rate at 7.7 when the market value is 9.9. When we go to review this data in 2031, that 7.7 is likely going to be 50 to 60% below market value as well.